Hello guys, Omni here. It's time to pick up after Crisis, post-Crisis, if you will, with Black Lightning to see how this show is now being incorporated into the greater universe as a whole, and what kind of effects Crisis has on Black Lightning as a series all on its own. The last episode, as I just had to catch up on with Jen and the dimensions and all that, was just insane. It was awesome. But yeah, if you haven't seen last night's episode, be sure to tune out because I'm going to be going into spoilers about the episode, talking about some of the changes. There's not a whole lot, but we'll be talking about the episode, so there will be spoilers. So last warning, we're going to go ahead and target down here. So we cut back. Jefferson's flying around. He's outside of Freeland, and you know he thinks he's talking to Gabby over the comms, but he's not getting it through to anybody. Hearing him kind of recount how the things that happened in Crisis and all that kind of stuff, he was like, "I met Superman. He's real." And I had to giggle because they've referenced these characters, these heroes throughout the show, just kind of teasing us here and there. But I would imagine on that Earth, maybe they were just comic books or something like that. But who knows? We'll see how this all pans out. This show doesn't get nearly as connected with the other universes as they are now that they're all on the same Earth. You know, there's other than that initial setup there, they make no other reference to any of the other shows during this episode. Given that this group of people doesn't have this kind of connection with the Martian Manhunter and that whole kind of group there, the only people that actually know about Crisis and the multiverse at this point is Jefferson and Jen, because they experienced it. Jeff was actually there, and she was trapped in this in-between, this nothingness space whenever her powers were freaking out in the last episode. So they're the only ones talking about it. They fill in Gabby on it. He's a little skeptical, but he ends up caving in a little bit. We catch up with Lynn, who last time we saw her, she had to escape from the ASA. Gabby got her out of there before they went on lockdown. And now she's going full on junkie mode with the green light, like rabid junkie for this stuff. And she's really starting to break down with this, trying to keep up with the research and just really, it's showing, and she does not look okay. TC, which is the tech kid who can communicate with technology, shows back up in this episode. He ends up tracking Gabby back to his tailor shop, communicating with the security system in order to get himself in. But Gabby finds him and ends up taking him in, giving him a place to stay and all that kind of stuff. So it really kind of worked out. I like their little relationship, how they're building, how he's kind of helping rehabilitate this pod kid. The basic storyline of this episode focuses around the ASA wanting to weaponize. They're just kind of done with waiting. With Lynn being off on the wall, they're working with the other scientists, try to pick up where her research left off, and they're developing control chips and all kinds of crazy stuff. And their plan is, because the resistance is so like actively blocking them from accessing the detainees, they want to create a kind of like they want to caravan them back to the pit so they can try to weaponize them all there, green light activate them all there, and stabilize as many as they can. Their goal is only get to a 80% success rate on the stabilization, so they're willing to sacrifice a fifth of these lives just to have them weaponize metas. It's pretty crazy. So the whole thing, as the resistance learns about this, they try to coordinate their attacks, try to figure out how to block this and keep this from happening. And there's a little bit of tension with Jefferson and Nyssa here, because of course the things she's done to kind of help the resistance, and not kind of also herself when she was stealing money from the drug lords and all that kind of stuff to, you know, fund the resistance, but she also took a little bit for herself for that apartment. You know, there's a kind of a conflict of going on between the two, as Jefferson's trying to reconcile with, you know, how she's been operating as Blackbird. He's thinking like, you know, you could be more of a symbol for the people as Thunder. And she's like, not now. Right now, Blackbird is the face of the resistance and all that junk. And they kind of have this head to head on who is actually going to be leading it, because, you know, Henderson brought on Jefferson, and she's like, feels a little threatened, like he's coming back in to try to like domineer her life, like as her father, as a side, and not like her colleague would in this kind of moment. So they have a little bit of a spat between her choices and her leadership of the resistance. Within this time, TC, back at Gabby's, talking to the computer and all that stuff, finds all the Black Lightning stuff, gets intrigued, actually even wants to help. even asks Gabby if maybe he'll make him his own suit. So he starts helping him with decrypting some stuff and trying to find out who actually tried to assassinate Gabby. And while all that's going on, some of the other metas are starting to destabilize. Brandon, one of the which, the geokinetic one, that has been wants that revenge on, I forget the scientist's name, the crazy lady one that was helping Odell and Lynn when back at the pit. So he's destabilizing, causing earthquakes and all that stuff. And Jen goes to find Lynn. She gives him, I guess, a spare stabilizing shot to go take to him, and she gives it, blah, blah, blah. Odell, knowing that Jen has shut down her suit, all that kind of stuff, is like, well, she's going to make a choice. If she doesn't join us, I guess we're going to have to put her down or put a control chip in her. We're going to make her do it. So he's going full on psycho mode at this point, and he's just like going off the rails at this point. When Jen finds Brandon, she does stabilize him, but they both get tranquilized and captured by Odell's people. And during their transportation, they get inhibitor collars put on them, and Jen's powers is apparently strong enough. I guess you could attribute it to the fact that she can also dimension hop with her abilities because she becomes pure energy. She actually transcends these inhibitors, and her power shorts it out. She's able to free herself and Brandon. This guard who is mind controlled by Odell and all this kind of stuff with this green light chip or whatever that they're prototype testing, opens fire on her. The bullets go through her because she just energifies and then escapes with Brandon in tow. And during the whole break, Jefferson and Nyssa and the Resistance managed to free all of the detainees, get their way through the ASA's forces, get them all free, and get them back to all the safety. And during that time, Jefferson and Nyssa do kind of reconcile. And, it's really nice. I like that everything's kind of coming to a head. Lynn has finally been outed. Jefferson tries to even find Lynn at that point and figure out what's going on, and then throws out all of her green light. They have this thing spat about addiction. How, how's it any different from him being Black Lightning and all that stuff? And I'm just like, lady, come on, calm down. The drugs, you're crazy right now. I know it's for like the greater good, and I get that. But then again, you can't really use that same argument in this case against Jefferson. You wouldn't exist right now. You wouldn't be alive if he didn't do any of what he did. If he wasn't Black Lightning at any point, I'm sorry, billions of people would be dead. So back at Gamby's compound, TC's going away, hacking away, communicating away, trying to decipher who Gamby's hired killer was, who hired the assassins that tried to take his life. And the last file it gets to, it turns out to be Lady Eve. What does that mean? How's that? Well, I don't know. Who knows? Things are different here. Gamby didn't mention it, that they probably shouldn't talk about any of the multiverse stuff because who knows? And they probably shouldn't just go jump into the gun on anything because they don't know what all slight differences are going on here or established in this world. So that maybe this is one of those. Maybe Lady Eve's alive. Maybe she's around. Maybe something's going on. Who knows? But the episode caps off with Jen calling Odell and giving him the ultimatum. She's like not his lapdog. She's not his hired gun or any of that. And she just straight tries to zap him. But it turns out to be a hologram. And now he knows her decision. He knows what he's going to do with all this. And it just, stuff is going to be crazy because he's going to be hunting all of them now. He's got nobody under his boot except for Painkiller at this point. And who knows whatever metas they might still have a hold on. I don't know. Crisis really didn't do a whole lot for this show. Not like I would have imagined it. I kind of expected there to be some more references to some of the other shows existing. That nobody had to show up. There didn't need to be a cameo or anything, but some acknowledgement, a little more than that, would have been nice. Kind of in the way that Batwoman and Supergirl had done it, where there was like this connectivity between the two of them that was going on. And, I would have liked something like that. It is the first episode back. This all did happen in the middle of a key storyline right now, especially with Freeland still being on lockdown and this dome. I would imagine maybe some of the other heroes would have been like, maybe we should look into that over there. But you know, that it comes down to that whole like situation where you're like, well, there's other people in this world. Why don't we call them? Because story. That's why. But overall, really good episode, really good jump back into Black Lightning, and I can't wait to see where this goes from here. Some of the things that I've been waiting to happen have finally happened, like them figuring out what the heck's going on with Lynn, because I felt like they dragged that on for a while with her decline and everybody not really knowing what's going on, her avoiding everybody and all that. And I was like, I want them to know what is going on. Jefferson, everybody to know that something's up with Lynn. Anyway, that's all I've got. I want to know your guys' thoughts. What's your thoughts on this episode? What are your thoughts on everything post-crisis so far? We got the Green Arrow Canaries backdoor pilot later tonight with the 9th episode of Arrow, so we'll look forward to that. We're going to be doing a full live reaction to that video, so come back and tune in for that. Thank you all for tuning in. If you like this video, support the channel by liking, commenting, subscribing. I'm going to be following this stuff, keeping up with all these shows going forward here in this manner, and I really appreciate all the support, the conversations that we're having down the comments, all that stuff. It's been a lot of fun, and I'll catch you guys next time in the next video. Take care, everybody.